NBC Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden legacy game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings. And coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. We've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today. And Coach Elk will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. And I'm joined now, good friend Charles David. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loves much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football and brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward with football, you're always going to think John Madden.
The Coliseum back to its original 70s glory. What a scene in the East Bay. And we're underway in the John Madden legacy game. Here comes Devin Hester bringing it out. And he doesn't even get this to the 10. He's taken down at the 9. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
And he'll take this across the 25 before going out of bounds. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And, you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. He played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon, and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft had 30 rounds then.
On second down, Farve. That's complete to Calvin Johnson. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4. But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems.
Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Van Rockman coached with the Falcons. He coached with the Vikings. And was there during that time. I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
Now a carry for Allen. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. But Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course. And the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Helped the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968. And that meant a date with the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just 32, Brandon, John Madden assumed the mantle of head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And what a ride he, the Raiders, and the NFL were about to go on.
Oh, this is intercepted, intended for Hill. Charles over the middle of the field, and a few too many bodies in there got picked.
That's a normal situation too, isn't it? No matter how hard you try and spread the field sometimes, There's always going to be a traffic jam, it feels like, towards the middle. And if there's any type of a missed throw, or maybe the ball's tipped, or just too many bodies in the area, an interception can result.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Now Farve. Toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete. Charles, you talked about John Madden and the Raiders going on a ride. Well, try these numbers on for size. So 10 seasons as a head coach. The Raiders won their division 7 times. They finished second the other 3 times, and he became the youngest coach to amass 100 career regular season victories and is still, to this day, the franchise leader in wins.
I mean, you think about it, that's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root, as did the expression commitment to excellence. And boy, was it personified by the players who played for Coach Madden. On offense, I've got quarterback Kenny Stabler, wide receiver Cliff Branch, wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff, tight end Dave Casper, to name a few. How about this great lineman he had? Center Jim Otto, guard Gene Upshaw, Davidson. So many great players, so many great memories.
They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at their 38. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Rush coming, and he's taken down. That's the Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor doing what he does best.
Well, that's an excellent way to get the pass rush activated. The first sack of the game for them comes on the first play of the drive, and it makes it very tough for the opponent to pick up a first down now. Playing behind the stick.
The AFC with the football here to begin the 2nd quarter. So now 20 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack. Work to be done. Throwing now is Brady. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Brown. Charles, you think about all the success that John Madden had as an NFL head coach, and he had plenty, and we talked about it, including the 10 straight winning seasons, a Super Bowl title. But like any great coach, he also suffered through a few tough losses along the way as well.
And Brandon, those tough losses came in high-stakes games because they always had such great success. Think about it this way. 6 times in his 10 years, the Raiders were knocked out in either the AFL championship game or the AFC championship game. But might be a divisional round exit. That's the one that bothered him most of all. Three River Stadium, December 1972. Yes, the Immaculate Reception game. Franco Harris grabbing the ball that was deflected. Almost at his shoe tops, he picked it up and took it in for a game-winning score to give the Steelers a 13-7 victory. And partner, anyone who loves black and silver still doesn't believe that ball hit anyone in black and silver that day, and that play should never have counted.
The CD, we spoke of some of the Raiders' tough playoff losses through the decade of the 70s, but for one shining season, they put it all together, and that was 1976. You remember a 13-1 regular season, a memorable playoff win over New England. They dominated the Steelers 24-7 in the AFC title game, and then a meeting with the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl 11.
Oh, Brandon, what a game that was down at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. A gorgeous 53-degree day, perfect for football. Raiders got out to a 16-0 lead at the half, and Clarence Davis, no relation, although I would certainly claim him, strong on the ground.
Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted, thrown back across his body. Picked up by the Hall of Famer Junior Seau. And he is going to score. It's a pick-6 and an AFC touchdown. Well, it turns out it's not their offense who gets him on the... So they throw the pick-6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. Hester going to decide against a return, and they will spot this at the 25. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. After the pick-6, they go right back to the air. Buying time to his left. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. They're going to need to get up and set in a hurry. They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. So, Charles, after that Super Bowl title in the '76 season, the Raiders again advanced to the AFC Championship game the following year, but they fell to the Denver Broncos on New Year's Day by a field goal, and that ended their chances for back. Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Derwin James with a pick. And it's a huge return as he brings us all the way back down to the 15-yard line. And that now 2 interceptions thrown in the second quarter.
And you know, a lot of people look at these guys and they think to themselves that maybe, possibly, they're still thinking about the first one. And they probably are. I think in this case, he's just trying to atone for the first interception. Tried a little bit too hard, maybe forced it a bit, and instead created a second one.
Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. Now Brady. Touchdown! Tony Gonzalez. A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the AFC is in for 6.
And that's certainly an important score right there because they gave themselves a 2-score cushion heading towards halftime. Now you got to force the other team out of their comfort zone, and it changes the way you approach the second half as well. How you want to do things on offense, and your defense feels much better too, having that lead.
Vinatieri now to tack on the PAT. And it's good to make it 14-0. Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. And plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt. And here's Vinatieri now to kick it away after the touchdown. Hester to return from his end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. They're certainly in need of some kind of points here before the end of the half. A field goal or something being shut out right now. They could really use some momentum before they head into halftime. Sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
So after the INT, it's Brady. Gets this one to Hill. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
So many times in my career, I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down. Now a timeout called for by the offense as the clock will stop with 20 seconds to go in the first half. Second and 5 from the 8. Brady now to throw. Allen as the first half is winding down, and the AFC is in for 6. Well, Charles, after the first quarter, it was just complete disaster for them. Everything has flipped. I mean, it's 180 degrees in the other direction now here in quarter 2.
Championship effort right there. How about them marching almost the length of the field, coming through on their final opportunity to get the win? This is one that this team will remember forever, as well as their fans.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. Hester to return from his end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half.
So we are at halftime with the John Madden Legacy game, and now we present a special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by the Raiders' own Trey Mosley. The AFC going to get the football first here as we are back underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy game. Fielded just outside the goal line. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. Up to midfield. The 30. 10. He will take this all the way. Touchdown AFC. I know a lot of special teams coaches, they just want to keep it away from him because that's what he can do.
And others have egos that their players can't keep up with. And they say, challenge him, kick it to him. The way he runs as fast as he is, I wouldn't challenge him at all. I'd do everything possible to keep it away.
He is just a blur when he gets a full head of steam, and he got a full head of steam there. Vinatieri able to tack on the PAT, and it is 28-0. Well, we talk a lot about explosive plays on offense. How about an explosive play on special teams? Certainly one there on the kick return for a touchdown. This fielded right at the goal line. And he's going to be taken down inside the 10 at about the 8-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
They try and run on first down, but to no avail. Tackled for a 2-yard loss in the backfield. So now, Charles, and to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42, he had just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember, he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people. That way, he was simple to understand, yet insightful for viewers. And he did with that big personality that he had, one that connected with everyone.
So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went out and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall.
They just can't get out of their own way right now. It's created an avalanche, and an avalanche is coming right on top of them. Wisnowski on to punt as he sends this one away. And he'll take it on this side of midfield. They'll score that a 36-yard punt, and this offense takes over in great shape right at the 50, 1st and 10. From midfield, here's Brady. Over the middle, complete. It's Gonzalez. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you're talking about things like
looking for his tight end Gates, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Deion Sanders, and he returns it here to his own 18-yard line. Well, to be blunt, not a whole lot has gone right for this defense in this ball game, but that's something right there. Still in the third quarter. It would take something around miracle territory for a comeback, but maybe that's a start, Charles.
It certainly is, and they're definitely showing that there's some fight still left in them. Hasn't been a banner day, but they're trying their best to put that disappointment behind them and find ways to make plays.
Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for, and it's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game that bears his name. Originally John Madden Football when it was first released back in the late 1980s, and now known the world over simply as Madden. Back now here on EA Sports. This offense so far on third down, a pretty woeful 0 for 5 thus far. This is 3rd and 8. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. So, CD, you look at the accumulation of John Madden's achievements in the world of football, the coaching success, the Super Bowl title, the incredible career as a broadcaster with 12 Emmy Awards, Madden, the video game. It was very fitting back in 2006 that John Madden got the call to be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A more deserving person you will not find. He gave an incredible speech on that day, Brandon. So many of his former Raider players were in attendance. He talked about how he envisioned that when the last person turns off the lights in the hall every night, that the bus talk football amongst themselves. And what a discussion that might be.
Yeah, he finished his speech by saying, "Today feels like the second time in my life that I'm being carried off on the shoulders of others. Yet instead of off the field, it's into the Hall of Fame. This has been the sweetest ride of them all." Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game.
On downs from the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Now Allen. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. You think about John Madden in his retirement years post-broadcasting. He was about as active as most people are in their working years. I mean, he continued to play a key role on the NFL's competition committee. He was available to a wide range of people as a tutor, as a mentor. He continued to teach the game of football to all who would listen. And Charles, as you and I know, he even continued to provide input, a lot of input on the Madden video game.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that design and build this game certainly look forward to their yearly visits out to the Madden compound that he had out in the East Bay. They pitch the new aspects of each year's game to him, get his feedback, and then get to sit back and spend 6 hours with him on a Sunday, watching football and listening to him tell stories and talk even more ball. It had to be an incredible experience for all involved.
He's got a man. Andre Reed complete. And down inside the 10 here before he's out of bounds right around the 7. They picked up 5 yards last time. Now they double it and get 10 here. Well, they have been unstoppable this afternoon, Charles. They just went after them from the start. And pass plays like we just saw, they're continuing their dominance here despite the big lead in the 4th quarter. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. I'm not sure what other ground there is to cover here. I mean, this offense has been amazing. Just total domination, Charles.
They've clicked so well, and if you really focus in on the offensive line, they've protected well when they wanted to throw the ball. They've moved people off the line of scrimmage when they wanted to run it. Smiles all the way around. This offense has been really good in this one.
And here's Vinatieri now to kick it away after the touchdown. Hester to return from his end zone. And all deep in his own territory, he coughs up the football. And that's picked up by the AFC. And that should just about do it. They return it to the end zone, sealing it with a defensive touchdown. So they get the one-score kickoff, get a fumble, take it right back to the house. 2 quick touchdowns within a matter of about 10 seconds on the game clock.
It's like a big 1-2 punch that may lead to a knockout.
Vinatieri connecting on the extra point, and it is 42-0. The scoop and score always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there. Grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kicks offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Toward the sideline, he will have the first down. Good catch. He was able to keep the feet in bounds. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Throwing is Farve. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Here's Farve to throw. Finding Johnson on the out route. That's complete. And he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35. In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. Farve. Complete, Calvin Johnson. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. One final shot. They'll look to throw. And this is dropped it incomplete. Well, so it's a win here for the AFC on an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. Before we go, one final message. And for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.